I did give our update on our youth leadership committee transition to a co-chair situation next year with Jen and me as co-chairs and Naomi as a third co-chair slash helper of all things, obviously, as always. And we talked a little bit about just a call to action, a call for folks to come and join the committee and help out as we move into the 2025-2026 year, and Nancy Jen will be taking over the chair fully for the youth committee. And with that, I do want to just jump into Interact. So just a similar reminder I made to last month's meeting, but please go ahead and update your club advisor for the next year. So please do that on Rotary International's website. For folks that are have active Interact clubs, it's important to do that so your club isn't put on an inactive list or put on a terminated list. And I am working with a few folks. Yep.
Ryan, you know, when they say Interact advisor, are you talking about the faculty advisor or Rotarian advisor?
Either one.
So both as much as possible, but really what they need at a minimum is your Rotary Club advisor. So that's what will keep it active. But if you have your DOE advisor or your school advisor, whoever it may be, you can also keep that up to date and enter that as well. But you don't have to. June, yeah, go ahead.
If the advisors remain the same, do we have to update?
Yes, still do.
Okay.
So they check every they don't check every year, I think, but I think if it's like within 2 to 5 years, they will start moving you over to the inactive lists and then shortly after the terminated list. So please do that. I know.
Yeah, I tried to activate for next year, but the dates were wrong. They were still on this year, this Rotary year.
Okay.
Well, I'll wait and do it again.
They've always asked us to do it by June 30th of the current Rotary year, so maybe they just haven't done it. But this would be the latest that I've ever seen it because it's active by now. So if not, go ahead. Even if it's for this current year, just do it because they don't, like I said, they don't do it every year. So as long as you're kind of doing it somewhat regularly, they're pretty good. I'm working with a couple of clubs right now that either are inactive or were on their terminated list and they have to recertify. Things aren't super easy right now for whatever reason. I'd suggest everyone keep up to date with this advisor link that if you just go to update your club advisor with Rotary International, you'll find the link online pretty easily. But there's kind of a hit or miss. Which is it Kealakekee or one of them? We emailed them the forms and Interact didn't respond, and then nothing happened, and we're trying to email them the forms again. A couple of times, people have emailed the forms over to interact at rotary.org to recertify their clubs, and for whatever reason, we're not getting a response from Interact at RI. So we're trying to just make sure everyone is doing this right and has me following up if needed. Try to do that
Todd Unger
quickly.
is really heavy for it if it is Kealakekee.
He's on it, and Nestorial just also emailed it into Interact again. So we'll see if they get it again. But for whatever reason, it sucks. And then you move into the next Rotary year, and Mark's no longer the district governor, and his signature is no longer valid. So you have to go chase down the next DG signature. It's a whole thing, but I think as long as everyone keeps their advisor up to date, that's great. And then for folks that need help to recertify some of their old clubs, please let me know and reach out to me. I did send out the most up-to-date Interact club list with the agenda. So if your club is not on there, and be careful because sometimes there's duplicates. But if your club is not in there on the active list, but they're active, please let me know. We definitely need to correct it from a youth protection standpoint and just for us to know. And so please let me know if you're running into that situation.
I know that St. Joseph High School is
St. Joseph is another one that needs to get back in there. And then I think even some on
they are active. What is
they are active. So
what is the security in the Interact if they're terminated? Is there a coverage or insurance coverage, or is there anything that happens if a club is not terminated and, is terminated and not updated?
It's definitely, I don't know if I have any horror stories for you, to be honest, where something happened and insurance didn't cover it. But that's the risk, right? Is you're not active. RI doesn't know what you're doing. RI doesn't know that you're doing it according to the bylaws, to the training. The youth protection training really is the big one, right? And something happens, there's a incident, and the RI declines to cover that particular incident with RI's insurance, and that's the risk. I don't know if they've ever done that for a club that's been, just recently deactivated. Like St. Joe's is probably, I think it's probably just within the last couple of years. But that's the risk, I think, and I don't want anyone one of us to be there. And you think you don't need it, but I think people have heard me tell my story about how we had to go through RI's insurance and deal with their claims, folks, and it wasn't fun. But we were very glad to have the backing of RI International in that instance. So it does happen, unfortunately. So that's why this is so important. I always bring it up. And then my last thing is just, I'm having an elections meeting with my Interact Club at Roosevelt in the next week or so. Now is the time, if you haven't already, to make sure your transition for your Interact Clubs is occurring. You've got both your DOE advisor and your next year's officers kind of identified, or at least a plan to identify them over the summer or something like that. It's very important. And why it is because also usually in the August or September first kind of month of the year for DOE, they also have club week right at their schools, and that's where most of your clubs will be advertising for new members and opportunities for joining Interact and going through what the benefits are of joining an Interact club are, and to have your officers ready for that event is always a good thing. All right. Any questions on Interact? I think a couple of things. I mean, again, I think look forward to this year. Upcoming year would be to try to get an Interact liaison for each island, I think is our goal. And so if anybody is interested in doing something like that, please let me know. The goal would be for that person to just really keep tabs on each of the Interact clubs, share projects, share opportunities, see if folks want to do joint projects, see if there's grant funding available where they can go after something, a bigger and better project, stuff like that. And if we can do our celebrations again, maybe one on each island, then the Interact liaison can do it on each island. That's always great. We didn't have a chance to do it this year, obviously. Things were a little hectic for me to try to get that planned and done, but it needs volunteers like all of you, and thank you in advance for helping out. But maybe I think that's kind of where we want to see Interact kind of go and grow this year, and obviously still continue to play into all of our other district programs. Excuse me. I'm going to move into HRYF. So HRYF is wrapping up. Obviously, I think all the $10,000 scholarship, the two $10,000 scholarships for recipients were selected, and folks were notified. Your scholarship certificates to present to your awardees should be in the mail if you haven't received them already. And there is going to be a luncheon. I'm not certain the details as to how people will be invited, Naomi, if you know, but I assume every Rotarian has to pay to attend for the event, but it'd be great to have your club represented to support your recipient there to receive their scholarship recognition, right? And each club should be doing that as well at each of your individual club meetings. But the luncheon is on July 6th. It's a Saturday. Time and location is still yet to be determined, so there'll be more information coming out from HRYF on that. But please, if you can hold the day, it's always nice if your recipient can make it, and you can be there to just support them. It's always well received. So again, July 6th, but for more information, time and location will be sending out from HRYF. I think, because I received it, every club should have received an email saying whether you did or did not meet your per capita goals for donation as of whenever that email went out a couple of weeks ago. So to remind folks, to qualify for the full $5,000 scholarship, you need to reach a per capita donation for your club of $20 per person. If not, you will only be eligible to receive the $2,500 amount. If you received an email, that's great. If you didn't, please follow up with your HRYF rep in your club. So I know we're kind of doing a little bit of after action kind of summaries, and Naomi kind of gave me some heads up this year. There were some communications issues, I think, with some clubs not receiving some information about area interviews and et cetera, et cetera. Everyone who signed up for HRYF signed that form in the beginning of the year that told them who was going to be the judge, who was going to be the area judge, who was going to be the liaison for your club. That person, whoever you wrote on that form, is receiving all those emails. So someone in your club should be receiving those emails. If that person is no longer with your club, then go track that person down, because they'll still have received those emails somewhere. But it should have told you whether or not you've made the cut thus far. There's still time, obviously, so the donations have to be received by June 30th, 2024. In the amount of the $20 per capita to be eligible for the full 5,000. But it's been a challenge. I think some clubs thought they were eligible this year for a higher amount and ended up not being. And it sucks to tell your student that was the case, but those were the stipulations kind of laid out for this year. So hopefully everyone can do what they can this year to make sure that you're in the right category for donations. Any questions on HRYF?
So Ryan, the annual meeting is on June 14th, and everyone should be there. So one per club should be represented there.
Okay. Is that did that go out? Because I didn't see that go through my liaison rep email.
That's on the master calendar, so hopefully it's still there. So they have a meeting next week, Friday, or is it this week, Friday, on May 3rd, and then they'll confirm that date.
Okay, so June 14th, that's a
Friday.
So please,
Zoom.
it'll be on the calendar, and then folks will get an email here. So hopefully everyone is available. So each club has to be represented, though. This is just kind of like a rep function or rep responsibility. So please try to keep that June 14th date open. For more details will be sent out, but it is on, I think, the calendar that HRYF sent out. All right. Any other HRYF questions? All right, let's move into RILA. So I think I don't have any updates for each of the individual island groups. All to say, though, that the planning committees should at some point here debrief on how 2024 went and look forward to 2025. I know Oahu got a little bit of a kickstart here, reserving Camp Erdman again for July 31st to February 2nd. Which is a little earlier this year than others are doing. I think some folks reported last meeting that they still have the February, kind of mid-February date reserved for RILAs on other islands. So that's fine. Don't worry. All of that is totally fine. But I think my message really, I think for folks as we wrap up this Rotary year is to just get involved. Each committee has been doing what they can with the limited amount of resources that they have, mainly manpower or volunteer power. And that's always the hardest part to really figure out. This year on Oahu, I can say that Rotaractors did a great job. helping out the camp, getting the kind of the programs together, getting the kids kind of engaged and involved. But it did fall to them a little bit this year to also work on the logistical planning for the beginning of the camp, like getting folks, ready to go, logistically, got all the forms, got all the transportation issues dealt with. We had obviously district leadership helping, but some of the Rotaractors were kind of like individually calling students and doing all these other things. So it was really kind of a last minute struggle. We want to, my recommendation to the committee and my goal for this year would really to be to get the clubs back involved. If folks remembered before COVID and before we went virtual, each club was kind of responsible for getting, however many applications they deemed necessary or able to, or deemed that they wanted to send.
Mhm.
And then the Rotary clubs were then responsible for getting the applications together, and then communicating all the information back out to the student once that information was released by the central planning committee. So I'd like to, it'll be a little bit of a hybrid because, technology is great. It's been obviously something that's really helped us over the last 4 years, but I think the clubs still need to play a role in RILA, and that's the way we're going to keep the clubs involved in RILA and the clubs interested in RILA, and have it not just be another kind of district program that doesn't have enough volunteer power to sustain itself. So it's something I think we'll continue to focus on this year. The costs are kind of normalizing back to what they used to be before COVID as well. So I think there should be enough ample notification this year to plan sufficiently for RILA. Budget, the $200 to $250 or whatever it is you need for your club students to attend. Think about which clubs and which students you might want to get applications to apply, and try to tell them early to reserve that weekend, and just keep in contact with those students throughout the year. And obviously, if they're part of your Interact club, it's a lot easier as well. Jen, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to mention, we know how strict budgets are. And don't be afraid to ask, get on the phone and ask. But also what helps is that if you tell club presidents, hey, can you do a Happy Dollars for RILA just one time? We were truly blessed with being able to cover all our finances by our generous Rotarians. So don't be afraid to ask, guys.
Great. Honolulu Club this year, threw in a big donation. They covered a big portion, very large portion of RILA this year for Oahu, and I ended up supporting kids that weren't able to typically go, right, because their sponsor club couldn't come up with all those funds. And so I think it's great, clubs, schools that did, it's funny, one of the report backs I have from RILA from Oahu is that there were a lot of schools represented that don't have Interact clubs, and we had less students from our schools that had Interact clubs. So I'm kind of like, wait, what's going on? So it's just interesting that way. But I think we need to get the clubs involved again is my goal, and I'll try to work with each and all of you to see if we can try to plan this out a little bit better in advance of the actual RILA. The kind of the planning committee has been getting together at the end of summer, really. So I believe registration for Oahu RILA was open as early as like September of this year. And so really I know there's probably a point where it's either too early or too late. I don't know if we're there yet, but opening it up earlier, it seems like it should be better. But let's get folks to sign up and commit to it, and have the communication regularly with all the signing and signups that the camp is happening, and people should keep those weekends free. I know it doesn't always work out because what high school senior or what high school person doesn't have something on the weekend, but there were quite a bit of no-shows for Oahu this year. They had 50 registered, but folks ended up not being able to go for other commitments and things like that. They're trying to reduce that. Any questions on RILA? All right, I'm gonna move to junior RILA just real quick. Nothing right now in terms of planning for upcoming junior RILA. My thoughts on this, my goals on this, we're gonna maybe just do a little short half a day event tied to your island RILA. So if somehow we could have a program for our middle school students for junior RILA at our adult RILA, or not, well, our young adult RILA, our high school RILA, that might be an easier way to do it. But I know, that doesn't always work with the venue and other stuff. But, I think this year we'll figure out something. Naomi, is the junior RILA committee still able to meet at some point?
They can, but Joanne's not going to be there.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe we can convene a time for them to meet sometime this summer, so we can figure out ideas for each island.
I'm sorry, I thought Wes was taking that over for the junior RILA.
Wes?
Yeah, Wes is going to, but because the attendance was really low last time, he wants to rethink that format with paying 2,500 to Rochelle. That was a lot of money.
Right. So Wes is, I know we'll just push him to have a committee meeting and we'll help him brainstorm some ideas. So maybe we can look at doing something like that this summer. And we'll put a call out for that as folks are interested to attend that as well, be part of the junior RILA committee.
Hey, Ryan.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, we had a big meeting with all of the advisors and the school advisors during the summer. And we talked about, some of the things that we could do together. I wonder if we could do that on each island, is to convene a meeting of the minds and kind of brainstorm what we want to do with Interact, RILA, and other programs.
Okay. I think that it's a great idea. We did it at HBA probably the first year. And I think then COVID happened, but we can definitely think about doing something like that. Does everybody, would folks be interested in attending that? And then is the summer good for folks to do that before the school year starts? Or is that something we want to try to ask the teachers to do during the school year? It's probably going to be easier to do it during the summer. And can everyone do something like that or would be interested in attending that? I see some nods.
It would depend on the responses from the school.
Okay.
From the faculty and advisors there.
So what I'll do is I'll think about doing a call here for each youth service chair over the next month, because it has to be before DOE goes on break to see if they can somehow convince their DOE advisors to jump in for a planning session here in the summer. I'm just taking some notes.
What's the length of this planning session? I think.
Yeah, I know. I don't think the intention is for us to have a full day charrette for it, but we can get a couple of hours of time. I think that's usually a good amount of time for folks to meet each other, give some introductions, and then talk about maybe some bigger ideas that they want to do over the course of the year. So maybe 2 to 3 hours at most. Yeah. All right. So I will put a call out for that this early May. So hopefully everyone has some time for that this summer. Is everyone good on their youth service chairs for their clubs? Your youth service chairs are changing or not changing? Seems like I'll see a lot of everyone's faces next year as well here. Okay, good. All right. Couple of things to do there for me. I'm gonna just kind of skip other projects really for now, because I think we've kind of passed Rotarians at Work Day and Earth Day, and we continue to kind of have the joint projects opportunities if anybody's interested in doing them. If anybody needs district support in helping to promote that, get whatever resources out to it, I think the district stands ready to support anyone if there are joint project opportunities for folks to join in. And I think there'll be a couple of other things that are coming down the pipe that I think some Rotary clubs are very interested in doing and want to share with the rest of you. And so stay tuned for that. Particularly lunch out of landfills is one of them that Eco Club is really pushing. And they've asked me to sit in on a planning meeting with them so they can we can determine if there's anything that the rest of the district wants to help, or the other clubs that want to help with in terms of lunch out of landfills. So I'll let you know more about where any of that goes. But just know that if anybody else has something, I'm an open book and happy to help you spread the word on anything as needed.
Hey, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, Jen. Go ahead.
Rotary Workday is in May this year.
Oh, is it in May?
No, it was this past weekend.
It was this past weekend, I thought, Jen.
26th?
Yeah.
27.
27? Oh gosh.
But that's okay. You can have it anytime.
You can have it anytime. Rotarians are always at work, but it was this, yeah.
So Ryan, you know that lunch out of landfills, they had a successful project already?
Has
Eco Club.
I don't know. I know that the organization has had successful projects, but I'm not sure what Eco Club has been able to do with them yet.
Okay, because they were talking to our interactors and we asked them to please include us. They shouldn't be talking to our interactors without, letting us know. But it was really difficult to do that project for high school kids. So it's trying to get the leftover, the scraps from lunch and putting it into bags. And so how do they do that during the school? And then they wanted them to go to the elementary schools and other schools in the area to talk about how they could do it. And I think, it's really hard for the students to do that. It's got to be from maybe the school itself to agree to do that.
They do. And I think that's where, your Internet Club can definitely be involved. It does take the principal agreeing to it, and it does take the principal telling the cafeteria staff to agree with it, because that's what I had to go through at Roosevelt for one of my projects with them. We got them some composters and some garden bed stuff, and they're composting now. It's taking some time to get some of the scraps over to the composting bins, but the cafeteria workers are actually helping them. So it's been good there on that front, but it is difficult. So it does require more than just the students, saying they can do something and not being supported by their school. So I'll listen in. I think why Eco Club is asking me to listen in for this is because they are trying to do this, as I understand it, through the district to then spill out to all of the Rotary clubs and then the Interact clubs. And so trying to keep all of you informed without, Eco Club going straight to your Interact clubs without telling you. So we'll see what they have to say on that. All right. Any questions on that? Something coming up for District 5000 on Oahu, Hawaii Children and Youth Day, October 6th. I know it's quite a bit out, but we already signed up for it. We'll be represented there at Rotary District 5000. Will be represented there. If anybody, any clubs want to be part of this, process and this project and have your youth be there to, do an activity with the various youth that go through it. And, you know, I can tell you my kids had a blast last year. If you all want a booth at this event, this is where, you know, people will be that are interested in resources for youth, right? And so if you want to set up something, you know, please let me know, and we can definitely get you a spot, or figure out how we can get you a spot on our side, or on the district side, or see if the organizers can carve out a little bit more space for us here on the lawn of the city building. So
Hey, Ryan, can you explain
yes.
what Hawaii Youth Day is for us that are off island?
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard for folks that are off island here, because this is, while it's a state, you know, project put on by former I can't remember rep or what is Susie Chun Oakland. It is on Oahu. So what I think would be an easy thing to do that wouldn't take too much effort would be, is that if there's any information you want to share about resources on the Big Island or other islands that you want us to have present at this event to share, we can definitely do it. But it would be hard, obviously, for folks that are not on Oahu. There are, I think, video opportunities in preparation of the event, Jen. So if, you know, your Interact Club wants to do a video for something, I know they had video contests before and other things. So some of those submissions could be made as well, because there is quite a bit of online pre kind of event stuff that they do. So I'll try to gather some of that information for you. All right. And then one other thing that we're doing, or my club is thinking about doing, and I'm sharing it here, is figuring out whether or not we're going to sign up for the Schools of the Future conference for next year. I mentioned this year. And, you know, it was a good conference. I thought there were a lot of attendees from all islands, actually, Jen, on this one, that were interested in what Rotary had to offer and what Interact was, and we're glad that Rotary was there. For folks, the adults that knew what Rotary was, we're glad that Rotary was there, because you know, I think a lot of the learning for students is shifting to, you know, problem-based learning, project-based learning, whatever you want to call it, PBL, and doing service projects for the students and the teachers being involved is one way to do that. We didn't get as many leads as obviously we wanted to get out of it this year. I don't know if we were really set up very well for this year to know what was the purpose of the conference and what folks were looking for. We're debating on our side, on Honolulu Sunrise side, whether or not that's something we want to try again and see if we could find ways to either get more relationships with specific schools that do attend the conference. But I can tell you that there were a lot of DOE teachers, faculty, a lot of students there from every island, and even the private schools were there. St. Andrews came to talk to me about the Interact Club, and wanted to make sure that both Eco and Honolulu were going to make sure that they were doing the things that they needed to do for their club. So I got to see a lot of folks and talk to folks that did support Interact this past year. And so I think it's something that we may kick in for the registration for this year. Do folks here, does anybody have any interest in being a part of this conference too, as an exhibitor? I'll just ask real bluntly. Not really. Kind of lukewarm response there. Okay. I'll work it through my club if it's something we're going to do or not. But I'll probably still, you know, just like Jen asked the last question, I'll still ask if folks are interested in chipping in or doing anything that they want to add to this presentation that we might be doing for this conference.
When is it?
It's in November. It's in November of 2025 or 2024 this year, but we are being asked to sign up now because placement in this conference is key. We were in an oddly placed area last year. The earlier you sign up, the better placement you get.
Where is it?
It was at the convention center. So there were probably about 1,000 attendees at this conference, combined faculty and students. And most every public and private school were represented, including elementary schools. So
I think we can get some people, so if you could give me information, but
I'll definitely get you some information.
can we get
And
that pop-up banner now?
we can definitely do it. We are
Okay,
gonna order a banner.
good.
I have some designs that I was gonna pull the trigger on, and then I didn't have any time. We will get a pop-up stand-up banner. Trying to use QR codes to let people scan and get pointed to, either district website or RI for youth or whatever it is. The banner will be available to any club to use with advance notice, as our tents are available for use as well, right? Everyone knows that we have those pop-up shade tents if you need to use it for one of your projects. So we'll try to do something informational that people can bring to their events if they need to. All right. With that, I'm gonna leave the last 5 minutes open if anybody has anything they want to add in or have questions for. Before the end of this Rotary, not this current Rotary year, but the Rotary year there where we hand it off to Jen in earnest. I do wanna try to get some of the things cleaned up we need to get cleaned up. So if there's any issues with you're listing your club on RI site or getting your youth protection certification done. By the way, Naomi, I did ask Peter for a list of clubs that were not yet certified for youth protection at May 2024 of the 2023-2024 Rotary year. He did not give it to me yet. But as I understand, there's still some clubs that have not turned in their youth protection certification forms that I asked for earlier this year. If that's one of your clubs and you have no idea what I'm talking about, please ask your club's youth service chair to go dig through their emails and make sure that you've turned in that form. Otherwise, I'm going to try to get that list from Peter before I sent out an e-blast on that. But I'm trying to get some of these processes cleaned up and things like that for folks to have this be more, streamlined for everyone and more of just a habit than a constant nagging for me. So.
Okay, so Ryan, just to confirm, because I'm youth service chair for our club too, that there will be no year-end presentations or anything like we've had in the past for the youth services. Is that correct? Or
Mark can speak better than I can, but there is no at DISCON, there is no youth service portion of the program, but as far as I've understood it, Connie has sent out the youth awards criteria for this year. So
to the presidents,
to the presidents, right?
I'm secretary too, so I know.
Right, and youth service chair. So while there won't be any particular formal program for youth at the district conference this year, focus on youth programs. Don't forget to before you close out this Rotary year to do your awards for youth. I know everyone's been doing a lot of good stuff, so you should have received the youth awards application.
So for any acclimates for these Interact clubs or Rotaract clubs or whoever's sponsoring, it should be done at a club level? Is that what?
No, there's going to be district recognition. So there are club achievement awards, as we've done in the past. The awards are going to be presented for a full year of service. So through June 30th. And so the applications are due June 30th for the award presentation. So instead,
no, I mean just for the youth. Oh, okay.
There's a youth service award.
Okay.
Yes. And we will have the round patches. They've already been ordered. We will go through a selection process for the outstanding clubs with judging from the applications that were received.
I guess it's not for the patch or the award for the adults. This is what I was thinking of, the kids being
so there isn't we didn't do any young leader celebration or youth awards this year, district level. As a quick reminder, and I don't know why I've never done it myself for my clubs, but RI does have Interact Club Awards as well. So if your club is doing really, really well, let's find a way to get them recognized on the RI stage as well. but that's one opportunity as well. Obviously for us for the next upcoming year, Jen, we can talk about how we want to do awards for youth, specifically for the youth, this year. We just didn't
For a
have,
celebration.
I failed I'm sorry. I just didn't have the bandwidth this year to get that done.
Okay, no problem. Just checking.
No,
Okay,
yeah.
all is good. Thanks,
Yep.
Mark. Yeah.
And one other thing I wanted to mention, because you triggered my brain on that one, is that I am doing just a year-end party for my Interact clubs. So and just thanking, celebrating, doing, pizza lunch, whatever. So do that for your clubs, and I think it goes a long way to keep your club happy and engaged. So all right. 6:30. Yeah,
So,
go ahead, Naomi.
we can make our own awards. So, if you want to let your Interact Club give an award for the best spirited person in their club. I mean, we can make that certificate for them and then you can present it.
Actually, we're already doing it at a YK Interact, so they can be recognized at awards night by their peers. For the seniors especially, because they've been in Interact for a while. So, yeah, got it. I just wanted to be clear, was there anything I need to do or get these kids to do to compile? And especially for Ryla, we had 2 brand new chairs, and they did an outstanding job in the younger generations of chairs. So I just wanted to keep them in tune. We'll recognize them as seen, and yeah. And
There is
especially for the-
this Rotary citation for our Interact clubs, and that one is an online form, and it's due August 15th if you want to get a certificate for your Interact club.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks, Naomi. All right. Okay.
Thank you all for attending. And thanks for accommodating my due date. But I hope I will see many of you at district conference on Kauai. If not, have a good month here, and just stay tuned. I think maybe we'll just do a quick e-blast for minutes and then this recording, and then we'll see how May goes and if we do need a meeting. But I think this meeting should work pretty well for May's one as well. But in the interim, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. But yeah, it's exciting time as we transition to the new Rotary year. So thanks, everyone.
Right.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you.
Best wishes, Mark. Good luck. Yes. Have an awesome one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay.
Yay.
Oh, bye. I have to roll, but as soon as we're all ready after district conference, let's just get together, and nothing formal, but just talk about where we're at and what we want to do.
Yeah, let me know.